And we're live.
Hello, hello.
Let's let a couple people filter in here.
I like that we have the LEP Productions up in the corner rather than the Stirring the Pot.
I know. And I still don't know how to put that on there off. So,
Not that I don't love Stirring the Pot,
right,
however.
right. But I'd rather advertise for LEP.
Yes.
So, how were you this weekend? This week?
Good. Lots of lots going on. I've been booking readings like crazy. I'm doing probably 2 to 3 a week right now, on
Wow.
top of working full time, right?
Yeah.
And then I have an investigation in 2 weeks, and we're doing an impromptu investigation, just Jackson and I, this Saturday as well. So
Oh,
busy,
really?
busy.
No.
Yeah, pretty excited.
Yeah, I'm going to try because I have surgery on next Friday on my knee
Yes.
replacement. So I'm supposed to come home on Saturday. So if I'm feeling good on Saturday, well enough, I'll send you guys a message and see if I can
And
jump in
peek
on the
in.
FaceTime. Yeah, yeah. See if I
That'd
can
be
jump in.
great.
I'll try. The bad thing
Yeah,
is,
that'd be awesome. That's
well, from past experience, when I'm medicated like that, I tend to wander around. So we'll see what happens.
spiritually.
Right?
See,
Never leave the
not even the border closing can Teresa.
right. That's right. Catch me if you can. Hi, Beth. So we thought we wanted to start out tonight by telling everybody thank you for everybody that listened in last night or last week. That was our biggest show that we've had with the most
Mhm.
listeners. We had over 1,000 listeners and views, and we just want to thank everybody for that. We really, really appreciate it. You
It
guys
was
took time,
astronomical.
yes, took time out of your day or your evening to listen to us for a little bit, and we just really appreciate it. So
Well,
we're going
I
to be doing
trust us. Like
do what?
I said, and to trust us to do those readings. It's a big deal when we had, what did we say at one point, 37 people in the chat room.
Yeah, it was really hard
Um,
for me to keep up with it.
right. But I
Oh,
mean, the fact that so many people trusted us to do readings for them,
yeah,
that alone was huge for me.
yeah. Oh, big time, big time.
And then to just watch the views just keep going and going and going. I'm like, oh my God, this is fantastic.
Yeah, it was unreal, and we really appreciate it from the bottom of our
Mhm.
heart.
Very much so. Thank you, everybody.
Hey, Margie. Hi, Tessa. So we are doing readings again next weekend, or
Next
next
Tuesday.
Tuesday, next Tuesday,
Yes.
and
Hmm.
then we'll be off for at least 1 week, maybe two, when I have my knee replacement. But
Yeah.
we'll be coming back, and we'll let you
Depend-
guys know.
yeah, depending on how you're feeling.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to sit long enough, um, but hopefully I'll be doing better and be able to.
Hmm.
The goal anyway. So
So,
I have something different for us to talk about tonight, Tina.
okay.
I want to talk about haunted dolls.
Well, I don't have a lot of experience with haunted dolls, but I find dolls creepy.
Now, let me ask you this because I don't find them creepy at all.
Oh, okay.
Did you play with dolls much when you were a kid?
Um, I used to collect porcelain dolls when I was little,
Okay.
and it never bothered me. And my grandmother used to, I had a couple of clown dolls as well, and they never bothered me. But as I got older, it's like the one China doll that I had from when I was really small. I still had as an adult, and we had it in the attic, and the
Uh-huh.
boys wouldn't. That kept the boys from going up to the attic because they were scared to death of it.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, they hated it, scared to death.
Ashley says, "Are you looking at my house?" He has gotten, if I'm not mistaken, I think Ashley has gotten some of the dolls from the booths,
Oh, okay.
I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ashley.
Now, my friend Terry Long has a business called Long Gone Dolls, and she takes dolls and she paints them, and they're creepy,
Creepy looking.
creepy looking dolls, but they're beautiful. But at the same time, they're beautiful. Like it's really funny. Um,
I used to play with dolls all the time when I was little.
mhm.
I had the strollers. I had the ones that you fed. I had the ones that would wet on you. I had the ones that would move, the real life feeling ones. I had all kinds of baby dolls. So they never bothered me at all.
Oh,
But it seems like people that didn't play with them that much when they were younger find them creepy.
oh,
That's what I have been finding.
I have a friend that's deathly afraid of them, like to the point where she can't even look at pictures of certain dolls.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Now, JC that was on our team before he passed was, God love his
he
heart.
didn't, he
He was
didn't like
he hated dolls. He hated them.
them.
And there again, I'm sure he didn't play with them when he was a kid. So, but we were investigating at Randolph County Infirmary, and they have a room there that has a bunch of dolls in it.
Mm.
We sat him there on the floor and had
Oh,
to investigate.
poor JC.
And one of them was supposedly haunted. And do you hear his mouth? Did you hear
Hmm.
him there?
Hmm.
Good Lord. Um, but he just couldn't handle dolls.
And we have one of the last times we saw him, we got a picture of him with Jezzy,
Yes.
and it's funny.
Yeah.
It's a funny picture.
He's looking at her like, you behave yourself.
Mhm.
We do have our LEP Productions and Paranormal Mysteries. We do have Jezzy, who is Annabelle's long lost redneck cousin. Um, you can go over to our YouTube channel and see the videos of her and how we found her and how things have just kind of progressed from there.
Yeah, I think there's four episodes. They're called the Jezebel Chronicles, right?
Yeah, and there's
Yeah.
more coming.
Yeah. Oh
They,
yeah.
yeah, things just kind of got stopped due to the Rona.
The
The,
Rona.
the Rona. So I actually Googled, I'm going to bring it up. I'm here on my phone. It said the 5 creepiest haunted dolls. And what would you think number 1 is?
I think if I remember, excuse me, I think it's Robert the doll, is it not?
It is.
Yeah, he's the most haunted.
Yeah, he's down in Key West. And
Mm-hmm.
what's funny is just a little quick funny about that is my dad vacationed in Key West last year. And I was like, oh gosh, Dad, are you going to go see Robert the dog? I said, nope. I did not even hesitate. Just, I mean, boom, answered. And I said, why not, Dad? I said, you're not going to go see Robert? I said, I think that would be so cool. I would go see Robert. He goes, no, I'm not. I'm not doing it. And I said, well, if you take a picture of him, you just have to ask permission.
Yeah.
He says, I am not asking a doll permission to take the picture. Therefore, I'm not going to see Robert the doll. But he was so funny about it. You know, and he is the number one. I thought that number two would be number one. I thought Annabelle would be number one.
Oh, yeah, no.
I
I
really
know those two, and after that, that's it. I don't know any other names of any other dolls.
do you know, and I did not know this until tonight when I was reading that the movies, the Chucky movies, they are modeled after Robert the doll.
Really?
Hmm That's what
No.
the article said, and I was like, oh my gosh, that is kind of cool.
Yeah, I've never
Yeah, I never run
never
into
heard that before.
about it. Mm-mm. And he doesn't look, looking at him. I don't know if I can get this where you guys can see it. Whoops, wrong way.
Yeah, it's all. Oh, there we go.
But, um, he doesn't look that. He doesn't look that ominous or anything.
No.
He's the way he looks is kind of like what we would call the dolls that they would dip in tea to make them look older.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of what he reminds me of. And when I look at him, I can it almost is like he would feel like he has like he's full of sand,
Okay.
not gravels, and not necessarily. Some of him is probably stuffing, but like when you look at his feet, they look like they would be full of sand, just kind of that thick,
Now
coarse.
you can't. What's the story behind him? You can't touch him, right?
No, you cannot touch him.
Oh, not even if I ask permission?
No, you cannot touch him.
What if I'm really nice?
You're not that nice.
Wow.
Yeah, he was actually, if I remember correctly, because I watched this I watched a clip of it on a paranormal show,
Hmm.
and if I'm remembering correctly, his aunt or his grandma lived like in England or lived out away from where they're at, and he didn't have any friends there at Key West when they moved. He was a young boy, and they she sent him this doll, thinking that it would be just like a temporary friend.
Friend. Yeah.
And then things started happening around the house, and the boy was blaming Robert the doll. Now hindsight 2020, you look back, okay, probably was Robert the doll, but they didn't know about, they didn't do haunted stuff very much back then. Not like
Yeah.
it wasn't up in your face like it is now.
Yeah.
Hi, Chantel. So when even as an adult, even as an adult, they said that he would carry that doll around and talk to it like it was real.
Okay, that's creepy.
Can you imagine and he was married. So can you imagine having your husband say, "Oh, honey, we have to set an extra place sitting at the table for my doll"? I can't imagine. I just can't. I can't imagine Jay saying,
See, I'm afraid if I laugh about it, though.
I just can't. It's very creepy. I just can't imagine that being, a child. I could understand,
Right.
you know, um, but as an adult, a married adult, grown
Oh,
man, he would carry this doll with him and take it places, and it's to me that's just insane. But I guess that goes to prove the power that the doll had over him.
Well, but we bring Jessie with us and we talk to her.
Yeah, but we don't have her sitting at the table with us. I mean, she has
Not,
her own
not
outhouse.
yet.
She has her own outhouse.
Got her own house. We tell everybody to make sure they get their picture taken with her.
Right? But they don't have to ask permission either. So, hi, Michelle. So then I just find him, now I do find him a little creepy. And I think it's because of the story behind him.
Yeah.
And then number two, of course, was Annabelle. And I think everybody knows about Annabelle.
Yes.
And the funny thing about Annabelle is that when they went to make the movie, because Annabelle is actually a large Raggedy Ann doll.
Right.
And when they went to make the movie, they were like, "You're not using our Raggedy Ann doll in this movie. That's going to scare the hell out of everybody. Sales are going to plummet." So
Oh.
they used the doll that they did.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they wouldn't allow them to use, and I don't remember if it was Mattel or Hasbro or whoever
Well,
has the copyright on her. They were like, "No, you're not," because that's like bad publicity on them.
or good.
Right. So they considered it bad, and they wouldn't allow them to use a Raggedy Ann doll. But the actual original doll is a Raggedy Ann doll.
Yeah.
And I was watching them on a show, and I don't remember what show it was. It was on Facebook. It was a Facebook Live. And they were actually moving her from the the container that she's in, the glass casing,
Yep.
and they were actually moving her. They had made a portable so they could take her around to places with them that have wheels on it,
Oh, wow.
and they were moving her from point A to point B. And when they were moving her, I was sitting, I was like glued to it, like watching. Jay was making fun of me, but they had like looked like welders gloves on, the leather ones that came way up. They couldn't touch her. They had a priest there. They had taken all these kinds of precautions, and
Wow.
so it was unreal. And I was like, oh my gosh! And if you sit and you think about like I said, the power that that doll had over people, that's kind of scary.
Yeah.
Granted, she was a pretty bad bitch, but she was in real life, but as a doll, and she is contained, and they still don't let people touch her. You're not allowed to touch her, and they
Yeah.
have the cards and stuff up on her glass casing. It's like the death card and all of this and the tarot cards, and that just amazes me. Absolutely amazes me. And then the other ones I had not really heard of. Let me see. Who was the other one? Number three was Harold.
Oh, yes.
He's from in your neck of the woods, I believe. Isn't he from let me see if I can find it here.
Shoot.
I want to say he's from Canada, but I want to say maybe British Columbia.
Is he from Canada?
I think so. One
The
of
only
them
reason
looking at.
I know that one is because I don't hide my guilty pleasure of loving Ghost Adventures.
Oh,
I
I
think that's
I watched.
funny. I love those guys. They crack me up. Like a lot of people in the field don't like them because, oh, well, but you got to look at it. It's entertaining.
Right.
It's entertainment.
He is
They
one.
are entertaining.
He is one of the best entertainers.
Oh, they kill me.
He's a businessman. He is great.
But on one of those episodes, the episode of the Island of the Dolls, where they investigate the Island of the Dolls, they
Mhm.
bring Harold the doll to the island.
Oh, I do remember that now.
Yeah, that's the only reason why I know the name. I'm like, I know Harold the doll. He's creepy.
Well, supposedly everyone that has owned the doll has died, and their spirit
Hmm.
inhabits the doll. So I don't know how many spirits are supposedly in the doll. Um,
My house is going to get noisy in 2 minutes.
the boys.
It's okay. All of my children just came back in the house.
That's all right. And like I said, I don't know much about him. And then there was one, oh, it's Mandy that's from British Columbia.
Okay, where's Harold from?
Um,
Did it say?
Let me look and see if it said. It doesn't say.
Okay.
But Mandy, it says she makes her horrific home at the Quesnel and District Museum in British Columbia, where she took up residence after her previous owner could no longer tolerate Mandy's antics.
Mm.
And some of those antics were, they said the home would fill with baby cries at night, despite the lack of any real life babies being anywhere near.
Oh my God.
Um, once they moved her to the museum, they blamed everything from curiously misplaced lunches, pens, and books to the damage of other dolls on her. And she's kind of a. Let me see if I can turn this. Go the other way, Teresa.
Oh,
Can you
she
see?
looks like a little baby doll.
Yeah, and she's not that. She's not that creepy looking.
No,
Uh,
I wouldn't think.
no, that looks
I
like a
mean,
doll,
don't judge a book by its cover, right? But
right?
what's that?
I said I would have played with her. And then the last one on here is Peggy, and
Hmm.
she was on Ghost Adventurers too.
Yes.
But they won't. I cannot remember what she looked like because they won't show a picture of her on here.
Well, because if you look at her, um,
You get sick and
you get really sick. Like
yeah,
people have passed of heart attack and stroke and
right, right.
yeah.
Um, Supposedly the guy that was writing the article said that where is it at? Let me see if I can. It says on here. It says the doll has caused physical ailments like nausea, headaches, and in one case, an actual heart attack.
Hmm.
Visions of mental institutions and 80 people who have looked at videos or even pictures of her.
Hmm.
So if I can look at a picture of her and get and her give me a heart attack or make me ill or something like that, to me, that would make her probably one of the more powerful ones. Wouldn't you think so?
Yes, in that sense, it's yes.
Because you don't have to be right there to touch her or to ask permission to take her photo,
Hmm.
but you're still right there in close proximity. You know, this doll supposedly, and I think, isn't she from England?
I think so.
She's across the pond, and if I look at a picture of her, I could still get ill or even have a heart attack.
Hmm.
That's pretty powerful.
Well, I think the heart attack was the person that saw her in person.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see. They claim that she was linked to the Holocaust and was possibly Jewish, the spirit that inhabits her.
Okay.
Um, let's see. And I want to see. It says the guy's a journalist, and he says, I tempted fate by watching the video where Harris talks to Peggy and waves a tape recorder in front of her silent plastic face. I'd like to say Peggy was responsible for the brief headache I felt afterwards, but I think it was more dehydration from
Mhm.
drinking too much coffee rather than bad vibes of an angry doll. But how would you? I guess you could say that about any of the dolls. Oh, it was
Mhm.
something else. It was the one with Robert the doll that I remember them talking about was the young couple that got in an argument, and the guy took a picture of Robert, and they made them leave, and he got on the motorcycle, and they had an accident after they left.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, you could say that was coincidental. If you wanted to take the other side of it, you could say it was coincidental.
But
But there's always that but hanging on there, which would nag at me in the back of my mind.
now, have you ever had any experiences with haunted, not even just dolls, but toys or objects or anything like?
We've had people say that, like we had when we lived at Post Town, we had a lady tell us that she had this mirror that was haunted,
Mhm.
and we took it from her. We got nothing. When
Really?
when we first brought it in the house, and we were new to paranormal too. But when we first brought it in the house, I was like, I don't want that thing in here. Oh my God, Jay, why did you bring it in here? So, and it could have been in my mind, but when I would walk by the mirror, and it was kind of a neat mirror. You know how like the old time, like if you're in a pub and they have the dartboards and they have the where you can close them up and open it. They had like the shutters on it.
Yep.
The mirror was like that.
Oh,
It
okay.
was really cool. It was really cool. And I didn't, I kind of felt weird. Oh, Chantel says that Peggy actually resides at Zach's Haunted Museum.
I knew she was in the museum for a while. I didn't know that she was there permanently.
Yeah. I have to try to look at that episode again because I just can't remember what she looked like. And maybe they
Um,
didn't show her. I don't know.
no, they did for a little while, and I can't remember to save my life.
Okay. Well, maybe there's a reason we can't remember it too. Maybe I shouldn't tempt fate, right?
Mm.
Mm-mm-mm. But I don't know. We have people that told us that they had a chest that was haunted, and we took it and we got nothing. So anybody that says, "Hey, I've got this object that I think's haunted," we're like, "Okay,
Okay, here.
yeah,
Yeah.
take it." A lady that I work with, Chantel, does she have like a maroon colored dress or something like that?
I think if I remember correctly, she's like one of those walking dolls. Do you remember the old style walking dolls?
Yeah. Oh,
I
she's on
think she
Google. Hang
looks
on.
like
I'm
that.
gonna Google. Google's gonna be my friend right now. Peggy. Peggy the doll. Um,
So we had, and I don't know if it was the objects itself or the spirits that inhabited the house, but we used to have toys that would go off in the middle of the night. It was one specific toy that we had got at mm, a yard sale. And it was in the shape of a sun, and it would sing, "You Are My Sunshine." And that thing used to go off in the middle of the night without batteries.
oh. Oh, that's creepy.
So yeah, I threw it out.
I don't blame you. I don't
After
blame
about the third or fourth time, I'm like, okay, you know what? There's like no internal memory. I tried everything right, but I don't know if it was the children's spirits that were in my house with me or if it was the object itself. But I just threw it out just to be sure. But that's the only time I've ever. Um, I have a trunk that I was gifted from someone, and he told me that he thought it was haunted. And so here I am. I'm like, you can't throw it out. It's beautiful. You can't throw it out, haunted or not. We got to fix this. So here I am. He had this big farmhouse out in the county with a few neighbors scattered around. Well, I'm sitting in his driveway saging this trunk before I put it in my van. I had
you.
sage inside the trunk, lit. There's smoke just billowing out the sides of it,
Oh,
and I'm
that's
smoking. And I have my feather out, and I didn't even care. And the neighbors, like old farmers, right out from the county, looking at me like I'd lost my goddamn mind.
I'm sure.
But I like it, and I've always it's my coffee table in my house. Now, when I took it to my parents, my father was supposed to refinish it for me,
Hmm.
and he wouldn't touch it.
Really?
He said, "There's something not right about that truck. Not going near it." I said, "You're crazy." He goes, "It's haunted." I said, "It's not haunted, Dad. There's nothing wrong with it." I said, "Do you realize trunks like that'll cost you an arm and a leg?" And he says to me, "There's probably an arm and a leg inside it."
What was inside it? Was it empty?
A bar of soap.
Really?
Yep, a bar of soap so that it wouldn't smell like mothballs and stuff, right?
Okay. Okay.
Yep, that was it. There was nothing inside it. It's an old travel trunk. And my sister wouldn't go near it, and my father wouldn't go near it.
Wow.
Yep.
Now, have you heard Robin Terry that owns Ashmore and the Art Theater? Have you heard
Mm-hmm.
him talk about the what are they called? The bureau, I guess, that he got.
Wardrobe?
Yes, thank you. The wardrobe that
Yep.
John Wayne Gacy's attorney had.
Yes.
And when he got it, it had photos or pictures that he had drawn that John Wayne Gacy had actually drawn and given them to the attorney.
Oh my God.
So when they were moving it, and all the doors would open, and everything. When they moved it into the room that they were putting it in, it locked, and they can't get it unlocked without destroying the lock.
Mm-hmm.
And if anybody, if you're investigating there and you start talking about John Wayne Gacy, or you start trying to communicate with him, Robin goes into AFib and has to be squatted.
What?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Robin will go into AFib really bad and have to be squatted. So
Oh my God.
if he's on the property, if he's not there, it's okay. But if he's there,
I wonder why.
I I don't know. Ashley has seen it. She said I won't go near that thing. There's something weird about it for sure. See, we haven't made it there, but we are going to. Oh, Ashley says she's seen it with Robin herself, seen him have to be squatted.
Wow. See, that's kind of scary.
Yeah, and so that's something. I mean, that is a truly haunted object.
Yeah. I mean, I've had stuff that kind of creeps me out. Or like I said, like that toy that would go off in the middle of the night. It was creepy, but it didn't cause me any harm.
Right.
Like
This causes him
this
physical harm.
causes harm. That's crazy.
Robin is a friend of ours, Carla, that owns Ashmore Estates and the Haunted Art Theater. I think R is in Auburn, isn't it? Isn't that where Robin's from? Is Auburn? Hi, Becky. We
I'm not
missed
sure.
you. I think that's where it's at. Um, Batman's ward. I don't understand that, Tracy. Yeah, it's Auburn.
Right.
Yeah, I thought it was. Because I could see him, I could hear him talking about Auburn, and I think I think that's where he lives, but I'm not sure because he talks about the fire department because he's a volunteer fire department or fireman, EMS.
It took me a minute. Batman's ward, Robin.
Oh, now I feel silly.
Right? So do I. It took me a minute. I'm like, oh, wah wah. What a
Yeah,
loser I am.
I had to have it explained to me, so that makes me worse. Margie, we haven't been there yet either. We're going to go sometime. That's one of those things that's in the future.
I don't think Margie's even been to Ashmore though.
I love Ashmore.
We have to book Ashmore. I had pictures
Yeah, Carter.
um of the like through the doorway down the hall
Uh-huh.
on the first floor. And even looking at the picture of that hallway, it just creeps me out. Ashmore's a creepy place, man.
I've slept in it.
Oh,
One of the funniest things was we were spending the night there, and it was we were there with Callie Cheryl, and she got a hotel room. But it was myself and Jace and Jay, Rick Rose, Michelle Harold, and Callie.
okay.
And we investigated that night, and Callie had to go back to Colorado early the next morning, so she went back to the hotel. And we're sleeping in the one room that they had at that time. It was the only room that was finished, and it had a little AC unit in there, and it was like Robin's nest is what they called it. It was a nice. It had the bed in it and all that. So we had at that time it didn't have the bed. It had just been like the walls had been finished, had been painted, and she we were sleeping. Jay and I were on our air mattress. Then Michelle was over here, and Rick was over on the side, farthest away from the door. Jay and I are closest to the door. And we were exhausted. So we finally crawl in bed after investigating all night. And you, Rick. And to hear, if you could hear Rick talk about this,
He's told me this story.
because he was actually like he was facing the wall. And he said that he heard Rick, and his eyes bugged out. And he said, I thought, oh God, they know my name. Rick. He didn't do anything. Rick. For the love of God, what do you want? He flipped over real quick, and Michelle goes, I just need to go downstairs to pee. And we laughed so hard. Jay and I were wide awake at that point. Yeah, it was the funniest thing.
And
But she didn't want to go downstairs by herself.
you're right, because to hear him, you know what, as you're telling me the story, I'm like, oh my God, my brain is going back to when he told me the story. He
Yeah.
was so damn animated.
Oh yeah, and you could have been there that night. That was absolutely hysterical
Oh,
because he just
God bless him.
she scared the hell out of him. And all she had to do was go to the bathroom.
Hey, that place is scary. I made Jeffrey sit while I took a shower. I made him sit there with me and talk to me while I showered because I said, no way,
He sang "Oh Canada" while you
it's
shower.
Yo Canada. I was freaking out. I'm like, I ain't going in there by myself.
See, I did, and I didn't. It didn't bother me.
Oh, nope.
It didn't bother me. Joy, we never did make it to Myrtles when we were down there. That's still on my bucket list. The Myrtles Plantation down in Louisiana.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's still on my bucket list. The good thing about Ashmore now is that they have the bunkhouses.
Mm-hmm.
Although I don't know what makes, and I don't know the answer to this. What makes the spirits stay inside Ashmore and not come out to the bunkhouses where we're at?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Ask Jeffrey. I sat straight up in bed talking to myself. Or somebody else, whoever was in the room. I was talking to somebody.
He was like, I thought you had lost your mind.
I
He
was
said,
pissed. They wouldn't stop talking.
for the love of God, shut up. Would you be quiet? Or something. I can't remember how he said you worded it. He said, I just sat there and didn't say a word.
They wouldn't shut up. They wouldn't shut up.
She sat straight up in bed.
Well, if you go to Waverly Hills, their bunkhouse is right at the mouth of the Dutch tunnel.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. So where they wheeled all the bodies out, right there at the bottom, at the mouth of the tunnel, is the bunkhouse.
I
So,
didn't know they had a bunkhouse there.
they're beautiful. They're very nice. So here I am at probably 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, and I wouldn't shut up because I was wound for sound. And Marchie's poor husband, that was the first time I'd met Rob. Like I just talked his ear off. And then it was like, and I crashed. And I was dead to the world, man. I was out. Poor Rob was up all night. But it was like, oh, I just thought I couldn't sleep. I was panicking. And they told me on the way up there, because I said, oh, yeah, we'll stay. We didn't get a hotel room. We're like, well, we'll just stay at the bunkhouse. Well, Brandy didn't tell me where the bunkhouse was till we got there. And then she told me while we were in Louisville that morning. And I looked at her and said, what do you mean? Where's the bunkhouse? And she told me, I'm like, you maybe would have thought to tell me that ahead of time.
You know.
Possibly.
That's funny. Now, I will say that the first year that we investigated there with the special needs group, that we went to the bunkhouse. Everybody was crashing, finally going to sleep. We were exhausted. And something woke me up. I don't know what it was, but something woke me up and I kind of like stirred around. I think I kind of sat up a little bit. I looked and I didn't see nothing, couldn't feel anything, didn't hear anything. So our air conditioner was on. So I just rolled back over and went to sleep. Well, we found out the next morning that the group was out back investigating the backyard and like up to the field because they heard music,
Oh,
like band music, and
really?
they went to go find out what it was. So
Oh
I
my
don't know if
God.
I heard it and it woke me, or if I heard them out there and it woke me. It could have been either way.
Yikes.
So, but that was a really Ashley helped us out the next year, helped Jay and I out with that group, her and her son, Austin. And that was when I first met Ashley.
Oh, okay.
Was they were helping. Robin had asked them to come and help us with that group because it was just going to be Jay and I.
Yeah. Yeah, you need more people.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, have you ever been to the Monroe House?
No.
They've got a room at the Monroe House. The Monroe House is full of a lot of Ouija boards.
Hmm.
And I don't know, like you and I are very much on the same page with Ouija boards, but a lot of people find them to be very haunted objects, right?
Right.
And that one there's Ouija boards throughout the house, but they've got a Ouija board set up in one room that's full of dolls. And I was very uncomfortable in that room. I don't know that any of the dolls were haunted, but it was very uncomfortable. Bob and Margie sat up there and did a session with the board.
You actually called me from there because they had left you alone.
Oh, they left me alone and I was freaking out because stuff was slamming around in the kitchen. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was freaking out. You could see the candles flickering
Oh,
in the
wow.
kitchen, and you could see shadows moving across the door frame. And then all of a sudden, you heard cupboards slamming. That was it. When I heard the cupboards, I'm like, this shit.
Right?
No, somebody
No,
better stay on the phone with me. Something, because this house is messed up.
that is a perfectly normal saying in investigating.
Shit.
Yeah, perfectly normal saying in investigating. I can't think of. I've said it. You've said it. Yeah.
I'm gonna get a shirt that says it.
Oh, that would be. Yeah. We need that. We need that.
It's just, but it's funny because it's so strange. Objects. Why would objects become haunted?
I don't know. The only thing I can that kind of made sense to me was somebody said that maybe you're so attached to an object that when you pass, you don't want to let it go,
Oh, I see.
and your energy is imprinted on it because you were, you know, say I have a favorite doll
Hmm.
when I was a child. It went everywhere with me. Not as I was an adult, but when I was a child.
You didn't set a place for it at the table.
No, no. So, so they say your energy imprints on it.
Hmm.
And then when you pass, since it was such a cherished object, that you stay with it. Or I
Hmm.
don't know if you can choose to stay with it. I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm going to haunt Jay.
I believe you. I'm afraid because Jay always says he's gonna haunt me in the shower.
Yeah. Never have a peaceful shower. Nobody will have a peaceful
Nobody
shower.
will have a peaceful shower.
No. Nope. Not at all. Well,
Hmm.
that about wraps up our night. We
Yeah,
need
I
to
could
get to hear some voice.
jump on.
Hmm. So next week will be readings.
Yep.
So we'll be here at 8 o'clock for readings next Tuesday night. So let's see, we'll get as many through the chat as we can.
Yeah, it's hard to keep up some days.
So, if we say, if we've missed you, please put it back in. Put your question back in there if we haven't addressed it yet.
Hmm.
That way we can try to get to you because it's really hard, especially when the chat starts going, to keep up with it.
And I felt bad because there was a couple people last week that asked a few questions. And after their first question, I kind of skipped the other ones to give everybody a turn.
Yeah,
So I felt if we've got time, we'll
go back.
definitely answer more than one question. But if we don't have time, we might just get to your first one. So
Right.
I apologize in advance for anybody listening.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
So everybody have a good, safe week, and we will talk to you next Tuesday.
Sounds good. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Thank you.